Thank you. You have invited me here. I am very pleased to be here. This is the topic, and I realized that it's much better to use such a topic than mediation, because mediation is, for the most people, is very strange still. Even it's very powerful. So if you ask me how is it possible that one judge could be in this situation or dealing with such topic? There are a lot of reasons for that, and I would like to mention to you just a few of them. At the beginning of my judging, when I was a young judge, at that time I was thinking that I was born to be a judge and that I am a very important person. But somehow my wife didn't share those views about my importance with me. And after 2 years of my judging, I asked her, I am doing some important job, but you never ask me what I'm doing. And she said, okay, give me one of your decisions. And I picked the one I was very proud at the time. It was among the very good decisions. And she started to read, and she came to the second page and she said, I don't want to read this anymore. I cannot understand this at all. It was the beginning of my questioning of what I am doing as a lawyer, as a judge, if nobody do not understand me. So we lawyers, we are dealing just and working just for the other lawyers, not for the people, believe me or not. So this is the beginning of my change as a lawyer, as a person. The second was very important occasion was Canada, Quebec, 2000. It was the visit of 15 Croatian judges to Canada, and they introduced us their achievements in judiciary, and they introduced me mediation, and I say, wow. So it was beginning of my professional evolution, and one of those very important things were my kids. You know, when people ask kids what their parents do for a living, they told to people at that time that their father is a judge, but that their mother is the law. So it was the beginning I realized that I have to do something with my everyday work. So I would like to tell you in a short way something about conflicts, something about way of solving conflicts, and something a little bit about courts and litigation, and finally about mediation and what we can find in mediation and why we should or can add mediation to negotiation. So if I ask you what do you like to achieve in your life, in your businesses, all of us need or want to become successful. And beside all of these, I would like to ask you, what do we need to become successful? There is one important ingredient. What do you think? What it is?
Communication.
Yes, you are very close. You are very close. So I like to say that we need to be happy. What does it mean? It means that if we need to be happy with what we are doing to become successful. Otherwise, it's very hard. So we can go further and say what we need or whom we need to become successful. We need other people. So we cannot make any success by ourselves. And what we need to become successful with other people? Communication skills. So I don't know how it is in France, but so far in Croatia or in many countries, other skills than professional one are so underused in any kind of educational systems. So today you cannot be successful if you rely only on your professional skills. Be a good professional just in your own field. It's not anymore enough. So communication skills today are the most important skill all of us need. And can you imagine, the most important and the most powerful communication skill is listening. We are not going to talk today about listening, but almost all mediations are based on listening. Today, nobody listens us. We don't listen anybody. We just want to listen ourselves and our stories. And try to change that, and you will be very successful in any relationship. It's not easy, but it's very powerful. So, conflicts. So when I say conflict, what first comes on your mind? What kind of feelings? Good feelings. Huh? Probably something pretty negative, yes? And we are usually connected all kinds of conflict with negative feelings. Huh? So we should, and I learned that my learning is still in progress, but from the time I realized, when I realized and discovered what is behind the conflict, everything became much easier for me in my life, in my profession. And what we need to accept finally in our lives, that conflicts are unavoidable. That's a natural, integral part of our lives. And we know today, tomorrow, the day after, there will be conflicts in our lives. So our lives do not depend on existence of conflicts, but about how we are going to deal with our conflicts. And this is something what is totally, totally put aside in our lives. So the way and the speed of dealing with the conflicts, it's kind of crucial for our life and our businesses. So today I like very much this sentence. In business, it is not important who is stronger, but who is faster. And in that sense, I would like to show you a very short film, about 2 minutes, who will tell us in a very symbolic way what does it mean to be fast. with the conflict fast. So if you count of courts, you will not come anywhere usually. And can you imagine, we will be later there. In mediation, it is possible to solve the case in 1 day, in few hours. So when we are facing with the conflicts, we usually look on them like something very negative, and the usual response is to ignore, to eliminate, or to neglect, to resist, and that we usually pretend there is no conflict, because dealing with any kind of conflict is painful, or it should be like that. And you will see later, for mediators, they used to say that mediators are those people who feel very comfortable in a conflict. Can you imagine to feel comfortable in conflict? So when we are pretending that there is no conflict, it's like that there is an elephant in this room and we are pretending that he is not there or here. It's the same with the conflict. So definitely I know right now conflict, of course, could be a negative, very negative, but the myth is that conflict is negative by itself. Only what can be negative is our reaction to conflict, not a conflict by itself. So even Chinese have a very nice two sign for the conflict or for the problem. One is dangerous, negative, bad feelings, and another one is opportunity. Every conflict could be an opportunity. So I will not elaborate more about this. So what do you think? What is the basic cause of the conflict?
Divergence of interests.
Diversion of interests.
Opposition of interests.
Opposition of interest. Why we have diversion interest or opposition interest? Because we are different. So all of us here are very similar, but we are totally different. We are totally unique, irrepeatable humans on Earth. So we have own views, own opinions, own values, and we are looking through the different eyes, different mind. We have a different perception, and we do not see equally. The biggest problem for humans are that they think, or we think, that what we see, that all others can see, and that we are objective. But we are not objective, we are subjective, and we are looking through our lenses and through our perception, our filter, and you can see something totally different than me. Or you can disagree with something I am saying or I will say later. Something what is very important is to learn how to stay calm when you are listening somebody with whom you are totally disagree. Try it please next time. So whenever you are listening somebody, maybe me right now, and you are not disagreeing, we have amazing, powerful need to react. I will tell you something about that later. So do not react. Pay attention that everybody have own right to think differently, to express their opinions, and they are not against us just because they think differently. So our brain, it seems it's not passed through evolution like our social life. So our brain reacts the same on attack of the bear in the woods and on a different opinion. If you disagree with me, my brain firstly think that I am under attack. And all of my survival elements inside of my body is alert and starting to defend and then to attack you. So the idea is what we should do to control that human nature. So we are very perfect from one side and very imperfect on the other side. So the feeling I'm right and you are wrong is very powerful. So I wasted half of my life trying to prove to the others that I'm right. It was totally a waste of time. And probably you know very well how often you tried the same with other people. And how do you feel when you are right? Good? Nice. How do you feel when you are not right? Not very good, huh? And this is a part of our human nature. We like to feel we are right. And this is actually a generator of all kinds of conflicts. We don't like when we realize that the others do not see as we see. And it is a kind of strange and a little bit crazy. Can you imagine that you have wearing glasses and at some point you realize that something has happened with your dioptry and you are going to the ophthalmologist and you come to him or her and said, "Doctor, I need your help. Would you be pleased to check my eyes? Maybe I need new glasses." And the doctor said at the moment, "Don't worry," let's say to me, "Mr. Shimatz, I have my spare glasses and I will give it to you and all of your problems will be solved." So I was surprised with that suggestion and I said, "Okay, doctor is doctor, maybe she knows what she is doing." And I'm wearing it and say, "But doctor, I cannot see anything." And she said, "Okay, Mr. Shimatz, don't worry, just be patient and you will see all of your problem with your eyes will be solved." I say again, "Okay, I will try again." So, but doctor, I cannot see really anything. And the doctor just raising her voice and become a little bit impatient. They say, "Mr. Shimatz, please be a little bit proactive using these glasses." And I said, "Okay, third time." And I proactively don't see anything. And she lost a temper and she said, "You are totally unreasonable. I'm giving you your glasses and you don't want to take it. Would you like to go to this kind of doctor anymore?" No? So we are doing that every day. Every day we are giving our glasses to other people and we are asking, we are demanding that they look through our glasses. And they have own eyes, they have own glasses, and they don't need our glasses. So stop doing that if you are still doing that from now on. So we are actually unconscious prisoners of our perception, and it is also very, very imperfect, but we believe that everything what we see, that is true. So, in real life, in a business, believe or not, it's totally unimportant who is right for any relationship. So please do not waste any more time in your life to try to convince anybody that you are only right. Any kind of convincing is a process of using force. Nobody wants to be forced to anything. So, is it possible that we can take over control over the conflict? Instead, they control us. Very often we allow to the conflicts that they control us. And in theory, everything is very simple, but in the practice is much, much harder. So because we need to fight with our own nature. What we need first, we need to get to know our human nature to become better in communication. So what can we do? So we can use something very simple. We can use the right to choose. I know there is questions about your head right now. Whenever we are in a position to choose among few possibilities, we feel much better, and we have more sense of control in our lives. If we have only one option, we are not too much happy, especially if we are forced to accept it. So even in the conflicts, we have right to choose. What we have right to choose. So any participant, disputant, can right to choose. What they can choose? They can choose their reaction to the conflict. And actually, every conflict is a choice. Maybe you don't believe right now about that. So the biggest problem from us as humans in any conflicts is because we just automatically, instinctively react instead of respond. So whenever we are in a position to go to the conflict, we feel we are in kind of threat, we are attacked, and all kind of internal processes which are in charge for our survival switch on, and we are reacting inappropriate. So the idea is to change our unconscious reaction to conscious respond. How can we do it? You will see. Next time, try to think about this. It's a very short version. So next time when you will discuss with someone about anything, and when you feel at the moment that you are disagreeing, and you will feel inside of yourself whole process which tell you fight, argue, attack with arguments or more arguments, or use louder voice or shout or anything. If we think about it, we can recognize that process. It is automatic, it is instinctive, but when they arise, we can stop and decide. First, pause, be calm, take a breath, and not react. And you will see, after a while, at least after 10 seconds, maybe more, at that, with such behavior, you give your rational part of your brain to take control over emotion, which switch on the survival mode or attack mode or defend mode when we are just arguing, when we are just disagreeing. So this is amazing power. I'm better and better every day in this, and somebody will perceive you with such behavior that you are maybe weak, but you are not weak. You are wise, because in the most real life situation, when we are living in the cities like this, we are not in threat. When we are communicate with other people, we are not in threat. We don't need to be fear of different opinion. It's not the problem that we are different in opinions. The problem is how can we deal with our differences. So we are all responsible for our choices, even in a conflict. So responsibility in English is ability to respond appropriately. You have the same word, responsibilita, how to say, do you pronounce? Responsibility. Responsibility. So ability to respond, and it's right time to take over control of our reaction. Nobody would do that instead of us. And you will see, you will be from that moment in amazing, massive possibilities to improve all of your relationship, business, home, street, negotiation. And it is amazing now how I can recognize your behavior in conflict, my behavior, how I become calm and not react. I'm waiting, I am calm, I'm not reacting. And if I do not react, you will become calm. You know, our approach to the other people, if you approach to others with the positive behavior, with the care, you will get back the same. If you shout, if you yell, if you use bad words, they will fight back. So you have a wheel of control in any kind of relation and the conflict. It's not easy. You have to decide to pay attention of your behavior, and you have to decide that you will change something in your future behavior. But it is it is totally powerful, and especially when you are helping to others dealing with their conflicts. It's much more comfortable to help the others with the conflict because it is not yours conflict. But if we are not capable to solve our conflicts, it is very easy to help the others. So I like this quote too. Sometimes it's better to react with no reaction. I like something similar. Think always twice before you say nothing. We are very often fighting for the word. We always want to say something, but think before of that twice. And sometimes it's the best choose to say nothing. Okay, so from now on, we definitely know that there is no conflict without our participation. It's like a dance. Let's say tango. For tango, there are then we need two. If one decides to not dance, there is no dancing. If one decides to not have a conflict, there is no conflict. So think about it, and you will do a lot for yourself and everybody around you. So somebody describe conflict like energy, like electricity. Electricity could be, and it is very, very useful. We will not have this PowerPoint without electricity. But electricity could be very dangerous. It can kill you. It's the same with the conflict. How we are going to deal with our conflicts. It will define us in a lot of senses, and especially in the sense of our success. So, how can we deal usually with conflict? You know very well about negotiation. We negotiate to each other every day, even with ourselves. It's also a skill. Many people think that they are a very good negotiator, but they really don't. And there is a huge knowledge about how to negotiate well. Half of negotiations failed, and that's the right time for the mediator and for the mediation. Mediation is actually assisted negotiation. When negotiation failed, mediator can help you a lot, because this is a third person between you who are in a conflict and who are in a subjective mode of fighting to each other. Arbitration, you know about arbitration, it's a kind of private judging. And litigation or courts are public forum for decide about disputes. So negotiation can look like this, mediation is something like this, and the courts looks like this. So we see a lot of difference about how people look, about the space where it's happening. And in courts, everything is ritualized. Everything is formal. Everything is prepared, that we can say to the people that we are, as judges, are in charge. So leave your hope in front of this door, because now I am the ruler of your destiny. So whenever you decide to go to the court, to the judge, you leave actually your autonomy to decide about case which is only matter to you and to other side. Of course, we need and we will need the courts forever, but most of the cases are not suitable for this courtroom. We will tell you about more. So, what do you know about the courts? Of course, we don't have too many time to discuss about that. I like to say that if you decide to dance, to go to the court is like you decide to dance with the bear. Look at me, I'm a judge. I'm pretty big as a bear. And if you decide to dance with me, Marianne, you cannot stop to dance when you want, but when the bear wants. That is a simple, very simple truth about courts. When you decide to go to the court, you accept in advance very strict rules. The fact that you will not understand anything if you are not a lawyer, that you have no real control, that you not decide about yourself, and that the result will be the decision of the judge who is total stranger for you, and you need to obey without your real participation. So it's necessary for many conflicts because there are many people in conflicts who misused the law and the courts, and sometimes you really need the force to rule someone's behavior, but sometimes even with the courts you cannot do anything against the other person if he or she has no any money and he is a debtor. You cannot do too much. Me as a judge, I really can say, and it is not possible to hear it from many judges, court process is a kind of process when you use the law and the lawyers on the expense of the other parties. You're trying to ruin the other party. You're trying to conquer, to win, to defeat by the legal means. Nobody wants to be defeated. Nobody wants to be forced to anything. If I tell you, give me that your watch, you will be offended. But if I tell you, would you be so kind, Thierry, to give me your watch to see what kind is it? It's totally different. So we as judges, we are deciding every day about who is right and who is wrong, and believe or not, we as judges, we are less informed persons about the case in dispute. Why? Because whole process, and people do not understand, and you don't need to understand right now, that the legal process is designed that parties, actually lawyers, create own personal truth about the dispute, which is not have many connections with the reality. And everything depends on the proof. If you have proofs, it's okay. If you don't, you will lose. So if I borrow you some money, and if I pay back to you, and if I don't get a receipt in the written form that I give back all money, I have no proof at court. And judge doesn't care. Do you have a proof that you give back the whole money? No, pay again. And there are a lot of cases when someone who paid total amount is sued again and lose. So litigation is a real fight. It's a legal arena. It's kind of a war. And you should really think deeply, do you really need to go there? And you should find someone who will tell you what you can expect there. If you accept that, so you accept in the consequences in advance. And do not complain at the end, because everything is possible when you are there. And don't expect that there will be comfortable for you. So I always make this comparison. When you are going to doctor, doctors do not heal you on expense of another patient. But me, I always have to decide that one is right on the expense of the other. It is a system, but it is not right environment for the humans. humans are expelled from the courtrooms. We have just law there. And the first lesson in law schools, the first year, that law and the justice is not the same. It is totally disappointed, but it is real. And everybody who is in conflict, who is in dispute, only justice you can get. You cannot get from the law, from the state, from the court. You can get only from the other person with whom you are in a conflict. But it takes time and efforts and patience. Nobody can decide about your conflict instead of you. It can, but with a very high price. So, we were discussing during the lunch about litigation, how it's uncertain, how it's out of control, how it's risky. And you need to know that you are dealing with the risky business if you are going to the court, no matter how your lawyers are excellent. So I always say to the people, before you decide, or if you have decided to go to the court, prepare yourself. And then they are waiting for what? To lose. Everybody goes there to win, and only one can win. So at least you have a half percentages, 50% to lose. So they are so easily go to the courts, and they expect that the judges will tap on their back and say, everything will be okay, everything we will take care, don't worry, we are here for you. It's not like that in a traditional way, but things is changing. There is a whole new trend of humanization of the courtrooms, of the health care, of the education system, everybody. So we humans don't want any more, or at least as much as possible, that others decide instead of us. So I would like to ask you, what is, from your opinion, is success or your success in any conflict or in any dispute? What do you think? Agreement is actually the right answer, because it is not a victory. Most of the people who don't know anything about this, but everything of this is inside of us, deeply inside. I am just reminding you for what you have already in yourself. So many people in negotiation, in arguing, in the court, they want to defeat the other side. They want to win. But there is no chance to have agreement if you only want to win. You need to find a common solution which make both happy, or at least equally unhappy. So victory in general is not a good solution in anything, except in sports. In sports it's very legal and very acceptable. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and everybody are happy. So only success in any dispute, in any conflict, is solution, agreement, the end of the dispute, full stop, and continue with your own life. Otherwise, you will deal with the conflict 5 years, 10 years, sometimes whole life. You know a lot about divorce cases, how very close people destroy each other with the help of us lawyers, just because we didn't provide to them right forum, right space, and the right kind of the help that they can help solve their problems, but it's itself. So every kind of legal process activates a mechanism who take from you your ability to solve your own case. From now on, I am in charge, and I know the best what is the best solution for you, and only based on law. And the law and the life are pretty different things. So we used to say that my core decision is only just the most probable truth. It is not the truth. It's the most probable according to the proofs you have put it on my table. I have no anything else. So I'm among rare lawyers who can openly say to the people, the law is not the best solution. Law cannot solve all problems. And what even lawyers cannot understand, or many of them, good solution by the law is usually not a good solution for the disputants. And this is something what is totally misinterpreted. When you get legal advice from the attorney, you start to think that is your right, that is your way to win. But usually in mediation, we reach totally different solution. It is not against the law, it is according to the law, but your own solution. You don't know anything about the law, but you know very well what is the best for you. So, and keep that in mind. It came from psychologists. They told us that the lawsuit is the highest form of distrust and even betrayal, especially in all kinds of relationship, especially in a business one. So, what is the best solution? So the best solution for a dispute is not a victory but solution. What is the best and most durable solution? The one which is achieved by parties themselves. Whenever you are in a position to decide about the thing which is very important for you, you are happy at the end. You are not happy when somebody else decides instead of you. So we are trying to do this. So we are coming to the mediation. So can you imagine the process, the forum, where you are the most important person in the room? Not the judge, not the lawyers. So where everything is important, what is important to the parties. In legal arena, we are dealing only with the legally relevant. And everything what is legally relevant, it's not life or business relevant for you. So I can very responsibly said that in life there is no legal problems. We lawyers create legal problems. And when we put a legal problem to your life or a business problem, you have just higher problem that you had from the beginning. So please do not underestimate. Many people think that is a very weak behavior and touchy-feely, but deep human conversations at the table, it is amazingly powerful. In a courtroom, in litigation, what we are doing, we are divide all parties in dispute. We do not allow them to contact to each other. One lawyer cannot contact the other. Judges cannot the other party directly. Only direct communication could help. But mediation is the biggest, one of the important, powerful tool in mediation is, in mediation you spend 3, 5, 7 hours at the table together with the help of the other person. There is no confrontation. Very soon confrontation is replaced by the cooperation in mediation. And people are so hungry for the normal human communication and for cooperation. Everything what was achieved in Earth is made by cooperation, not by the wars or confrontations. And what is important there, parties reach own solution. Because it is own, they feel it like justice. They get own justice, and they execute their own solution by themselves. They don't need the force to execute what they agreed. And what mediators say didn't do the negotiation, we were discussing about that. So mediator keep disputes at the table. It's a very important role. It's so easy to leave the room or the table. It returns human communication. Human communication. Can you imagine that we have to remind us that we are humans and we like to act like humans? That everybody is the equal. That mediator cannot decide instead of the parties. They just help them to decide for themselves. That we are talking in understandable language, business, life. We are not hiding behind the law. We are not hiding behind professional masks. We are all the same. And mediators are definitely making all obstacles down between the parties. So, I would like to put this sentence in front of you. Whenever you will be next time in dispute, a serious one. So there is no unsolvable problems. There is just problems who are not solving. So keep in that mind that you always need to think about and to decide, do you want law on your side and to go to the legal battle, or you want to do right thing for you, for your opponent, for all of you. So to have a law on your side very often is not a big advantage for you. But you need to know that if you decide to go to real negotiation or real mediation, if it is law on your side, that you will be in much better position. So you don't need the court to tell you that the law is on your side. So do not rely on judges, because we are not Supermans. We do not see through the walls. We cannot reveal the truths you are hiding, and we cannot make decisions instead of you. And this is the last results of using mediation in the United States, like these formulas. Companies, business companies, 65% of them today use mediation. Thank you very much.